The name's woke. James Woke. I was shaken and stirred by this story. Just days after it was revealed that Roald Dahl's books have been sanitised for fear of causing offence, it's now James Bond's turn to be a victim of politically correct censors who have rewritten a number of his books to make them more inclusive. Inclusive, eh? Well, may God forgive me for wanting to be excluded from all this nonsense. And there was me thinking the greatest threat to James Bond was Blofeld or Scaramanga. I thought his greatest danger came from a terrifying psychopath, someone intent on global domination, or a pussy-stroking megalomaniac. But in a stunning plot twist, it turns out that James Bond's greatest foe is virtue-signalling sensitivity readers, whose job it is to suck any joy or entertainment out of great literature and find offence anywhere they can. By finding racism, for example, everywhere, including places where it isn't. I wonder sometimes whether it's these woke Philistines who are in fact the racists all along. The Sunday Telegraph today offer an example of the new-look James Bond. In the original book version of Live and Let Die, Bond says that would-be African criminals in the gold and diamond trades are, and I quote, pretty law-abiding chaps, I should have thought, except when they've drunk too much. That was the original, but woke James Bond 2.0 in the new book simply says, they're pretty law-abiding chaps, I should have thought. No mention of booze this time round. They've gone teetotal by the looks of it. This is progress, is it? Where does it end? Are Russian crooks to no longer drink vodka? Are British criminals no longer up to the eyeballs in whiskey? This is doing my head in. I need a stiff one, sharpish. Now, to be fair, the publishers of Fleming's iconic novels haven't given his books quite the rogering suffered by Charlie in a Chocolate Factory or Matilda. It strikes me that the publishers have tried to keep the original spirit of the novels, and they cite Ian Fleming's support for some previous changes when he was alive. Most of the updated book's contents are still pretty wild, so fair play. But why change these books at all, especially with the author now gone? It's my view that art is sacred and untouchable, even if it emerges as problematic for future generations. Books are like museum pieces that further our understanding of the past and serve as a chronicle of the human story. Airbrushing them, tweaking them and giving them a 21st century rewrite is, in my view, a chilling development. What's next? Should we get the crayons out and give the Mona Lisa a better smile? And who decides what is and isn't offensive, and by what metric? In many ways, though, the Roald Dahl drama, and now James Bond, is a good news story for those who are sick of this woke bullshit. Because the backlash against Roald Dahl has seen their publishers, Puffin, perform an embarrassing U-turn, stand up to bullies and all that. I've always said that woke culture contains within it the seeds of its own destruction. And with Roald Dahl and now James Bond, these are examples of politically correct censors overplaying their hand and getting an angry reaction from, in many cases, normal people who never normally enter the political fray. And that's the point about wokeism. It ends when the so-called normies are affected and say no more. When ordinary people who don't live on Twitter and don't live in leafy North London begin to see the real-world consequences of this deeply illiberal assault on our society and its institutions. I read a hilarious piece today in the Sunday Telegraph by columnist Rosa Silverman about how parents don't know how to dress their kids for World Book Day anymore because almost every author or book character you can think of is now a problem. Roald Dahl, J.K. Rowling, Enid Blyton, Paddington Bear is a problem. Dr. Seuss, even Walt bloody Disney is now controversial. Many people say they don't care about the so-called woke stuff and that it's confected, it's a war, that it's politicised by the right, and who cares anyway as it doesn't affect them. Well, a hurricane doesn't affect you until it reaches your home. None of this will blow over if we continue to sit on our hands and put up with it. Here's the thing. We comply to make the tyranny stop, but our compliance means it never will. These censorious bullies shouldn't be touching a word of Ian Fleming's classics. And if there are offensive terms in his books or awkward characterizations, allow us, the public, to learn from and reflect on them, not be protected from them by an unaccountable 20-something, a sub-editor that's just had their diversity training in a publication company. 007, oh dear. Fleming's works should be for your eyes only. I'm sick of this Goldfinger wagging nonsense. The world is not enough for these idiots. These changes are a Thunderballs-up, and when it comes to this kind of outrageous censorship, I say, Doctor, no.